Personal injury claims have very much been in the spotlight in recent years as one of the key areas targeted by fraudsters. As such, it is no surprise that the insurance industry and governments are stepping up their efforts to combat this epidemic, especially with regards to spurious whiplash claims. Here in the UK alone, we've seen proposals for independent medical panels and also for the courts to have more powers. But there is still some way to go before we eradicate the whiplash problem. And fears remain that success here will simply see the fraudsters move into other personal injury claims areas, on the assumption that where one door closes, another opens for hardened criminals. Hello, my name is Jonathan Swift, and I'm delighted to say that today I'm joined in the studio by Sarah Cosentini from CRIF to discuss this subject in more detail. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you.
So, Sarah, how much of an issue is whiplash in the markets that you operate in, and what successes have you seen, maybe through legislation or changes in the law, in combating it?
I think this is a very complex and wide question. Since 1982, the problem of and the incident of whiplash claims in the Western culture has increased dramatically. If we think of a special UK region, when we started the observation in 1982, the incident of whiplash claim out of the total emergency accidents reported started to be 7.7%, and it went to 57% in 15 years, and extended still through the year 2000. Italy is, for example, another very good, well-known countries in being in a top 10 whiplash countries reporting whiplash claims. The UK, though, still reports 500,000 whiplash claims every year. That sounds like one claim per minute, and yeah, UK prides to be still the capital of whiplash claims. Costs for the industry are really significant. We are estimating around £2 billion every year, and an incident for each citizen and for each premium to be £90 every year. So, of course, government needs to act somewhere, somehow. In Italy, for example, the last legislation introduced in 2012 made sure that claims could have been paid back only in case of an objective reporting of the damage. This, of course, narrowed up the premium and the claims paid back, and this benefit the industry of about 30%, so 30% less paid this year more than the other years. In the UK, the situation is in a lot of movement as it stands at the moment, as the government reported lots of information that needs to be still to be digested by the industry on the basis of what's going on. This is reported in the last week reports issued by the Transport Select Committee inquiries. The different stakeholders need to work actively to it. The timing from implementation of the different stakeholders is still in debate. But what is the good news in the market is that insurance premium, the policy for the customers, decreased in the last 2 years. So this is a very good sign. Lots of other regulations are coming over next year. On the basis of the result of this new regulation, of course, things will be decided and will be better defined in the future. So we cannot say, as it stands at the moment, which could be the impacts on this. What is for sure is that the government and all the parties involved are really working hard to make sure that this is happening and to make sure that this will be a benefit for the final customer.
Taking that into account, do you think the main source of the problem is the opportunists trying to make a quick buck from their insurer, or is it the organised gangs, or perhaps even a combination of the two?
I think it's a combination of the two. As a general concept, we can say that insurance fraud is considered to be the second crime in the USA culture, for example, committed by white collars after tax evasion. We can also refer to statistics and research made up of the ABI recently on the basis that, as a general concept, 40% of the interviewed thought that committing fraud to an insurance company is not even to be considered fraud, it's just not a misbehavior. So it's a combination of the two. If we consider our culture and the fact that we try to compensate a lot, the opportunistic frauds occur on the basis of having recession problems, for example, or economic crisis. So this is facilitating, of course, the opportunistic gaining money from insurance companies. This is revealing and exaggerating the claims or whiplash claims or anything that cannot be correctly measured. On the other side, what the IFB is revealing is that 1 out of 7 personal injury claims seem to be related to an organized gang. Organized gangs, as it stands at the moment, would act on public buses, for example, and would pretend to have more person involved. This is, of course, exaggerating and is, of course, increasing the cost for the industry. There is lots of money around this area. So this is a very interesting and specific area to look at.
What else could be done to curb these issues, and how could the better use of data play a significant role?
I think lots of things can be done in several areas. In terms of public awareness, for example, creating IPR condition on the basis of blaming fraudulent behavior, making sure that people is informed about the fact that fraud is not victimless crime, cost the industry, cost to the final user, and is something that can be persecuted by law, because at the end of the day, it's a crime. There is something that can be done organization-wise within the insurance industry and within the insurance companies as well, on the basis of the fact that companies has to realize that the whiplash epidemic effect has to finish on the basis of reacting instead of accepting things and decide to pay the claim as it is. There is a very good example from Admiral that win a very significant battle in this area exactly because they decided to go ahead and deep into the details of the investigation. So this is really, really important. Something can be done in the data area because there are huge amount of information that can be retrieved to help combating PI claim whiplash fraud. If we think of, for example, recording the scene of a crime and use this file, or cross-checking the PI claims among the different stakeholders, analyzing this data, harvesting the possible information coming out of the industry, identifying the subject. These are all elements that could bring a real benefit to the industry as well. This data could be ideally used even better if parties and stakeholders involved would join their synergies and make sure that through the exchange of their own information and even at share level information, a success could be, of course, reached.
Do you think all the attention that's been paid to whiplash has meant that fraudsters, whether the opportunists or the organised kind of criminals, have perhaps started to look at other areas of personal injury claims? And where in particular do you see them attacking, now and in the future?
Mm-hmm. Whiplash claims, to some extent, has always been considered so far as the soft underbelly of the industry, and it was easier for fraudster to attack this area. Now that government and the stakeholders involved are checking more and are performing better control and results in this area, I'm sure that fraudster will find other areas to tackle. As far as I can think of, those areas are the ones that are less measurable. like, for example, anything dealing with the industrial deafness or anything dealing with stress related to the condition of a man. Other areas may be referring to the medical checks in case of trauma, for example. All the environments that are dealing with rehabilitation. This is something that can be easily approached. We are seeing also area around the public liability. It seems to be something also very well regarded as possible future.
Okay, Sarah, well, unfortunately, that's all we have time for. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
If you'd like to read more about personal injury claims and whiplash, then please check out the In series, which is currently running in Post magazine, online, in print and app. This has been done in association with CRIF. All that's left for me to say is thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye.